Welcome to Uphallant. Over the past couple of weeks, chasing deep flow rifts, Jane has been thinking about all the materials she'll need to collect in order to build her Stratios. And while her home base in Lisbethane was convenient for being close to several Sisters of Eve stations, for the next few parts of her adventure, there were better options. She settled on Uphallant, a small backwater system in Placid. Until recently, this part of Placid was a busy place because Eve University was based in Stackman, only 2 jumps away. That made these low-sec systems in the neighborhood a little too busy, with university students competing for resources and other players wanting easy targets coming to shoot the students. But at the beginning of the new year, Eve University moved its headquarters to Korsiki in Kaldari space, taking the student population and those who come to shoot at the student population far from here. Theoretically, that should make things quieter now. The attraction to Uphallant in particular is that the Gallente Federal Navy has 2 test facility stations here. And in a run like this, where Jane is using NPC stations to do most of her building, it's worth considering what kind of NPC station to use. The most common kinds of stations adventurers like Jane consider fall into 2 categories. First, there are stations that have research facilities available. You need research facilities to make blueprint copies from blueprint originals. Why would Jane want copies when you can just build stuff from the original anyway? 1, you might want to make a copy and take it to some other region to do things, rather than take originals that could cost a lot to replace if you get blown up with them in your cargo hold. It's safer to make a copy and pack that along to wherever you're going. 2, some blueprints, for ships especially, take a lot of materials to build. So if Jane gets the feeling that at some point she'll need to build several more ships of a particular kind, she can research blueprint originals to reduce the materials needed for those builds. And 3, if Jane ever wants to or needs to do any T2 building of modules, which she may well need to do to build a few of the modules that will eventually go on her Stratios, she'll need research available to invent the T2 blueprints. The drawback is that typically in research stations, reprocessing efficiency runs around 30%, meaning that whatever you process in that station yields less than 1/3 of the materials that the industry tab of the thing says are available from whatever module it is you're going to melt down. The second typical kind of NPC station you'd think about setting up a base in has reprocessing efficiency of 50%. You never get 100% efficiency even at player-owned stations, and this is where Jane would rather reprocess things. The 20% is a huge difference between 30 and 50, and mostly these better reprocessing stations don't have research available. But the exception to the pattern is testing facilities stations. Every faction has a few of them, and these special stations have both research and a 50% reprocessing efficiency. Here in Uphallant, there are 2 of them. What makes Uphallant even more special is that it also has ice belts, which you can tell in the dot land by this solid circle around the system name. Uphallant has blue ice belts, and blue ice is one of the types of ice Jane needs. And here, only 1, 2, 3 jumps away, is Cummins, an 0.1 security system with another ice belt. And that's significant because dark glitter ice, another kind of ice that Jane is going to need, is only available in 0.1 security systems and below. And if that isn't enough, Uphallant also has, or is very near to other systems that have, the right combination of planets where she can do all the planetary industry she needs. Of course, no system has it all, but Uphallant seems to be as close to having it all as anyone has a right to hope for. So Jane has packed up all her blueprints and a few other materials to set up a base and has moved them here. You may remember Jane from a once popular series of books used to teach children how to read. Jane left that conventional life portrayed in those stories to become a capsuleer, but it left her with a chip on her shoulder. Far from conventional now, she has committed herself to following 4 cardinal rules that she calls her guiding stars. Her vision is to build a Stratios and fly it on a pilgrimage to the Eve Gate. These are the continuing adventures of Jane Honesty. So now that we're settled in at Uphallant, the first order of business is to buy a few of these blueprints that Jane has had her eyes on. Auto Integrity Preservation Seal Blueprint, 150 million ISK. Buy this. Life Support Backup Unit Blueprint, 150 million ISK. Buy this. Carbon Fiber Reaction Formula, 10 million ISK. Buy this. Reinforced Carbon Fiber Reaction Formula, 20 million ISK. Buy this. Oxy-Organic Solvents Reaction Formula, 10 million ISK. Buy this. Thermosetting Polymer Reaction Formula, 10 million ISK. Buy this. Oxygen Fuel Block Blueprint, 10 million ISK. Buy this. Hydrogen Fuel Block Blueprint. Buy this. And with all that shopping out of the way, we can now start checking off some items on our Stratios list. Auto Integrity Preservation Seal Blueprint, check. Life Support Backup Unit Blueprint, check. Reinforced Carbon Fiber Reaction Formula, check. Carbon Fiber Reaction Formula, check. Oxy-Organic Solvent Reaction Formula, check. Thermosetting Polymer Reaction Formula, check. Oxygen Fuel Block Blueprint, check. And Hydrogen Fuel Block Blueprint, check. And on our main Stratios build chart, that looks like this. We've managed to check off this section down here, but we still have an awful lot to go. Which brings us to the next part of this project. Nereus Blueprint, 3,100,000 ISK. Buy this. We already have things on hand to start building one of these, except for we need 37 more megasites and we need 48,500 tritanium. So we're going to have to reprocess some more stuff to get that building. And we brought all this kind of little junk along with us, but let's do this. Let's just, because we're going to need to build quite a bit of stuff, we're going to reprocess just all the rest of these. And that will give us enough and to spare to get us our Nereus. We're going to put that into build, 2 hours and 48 minutes build time, and we'll get that started. As I'm looking for what I want to fit on the Nereus when it comes out, I want to put inertial stabilizers on it so that it's just a little bit quicker off the gates, and I'm realizing that, whoops, I bought an extra blueprint for inertial stabilizers. Fortunately, it was not too expensive of a mistake, only 54,400 ISK. But anyway, we have 2 of those now. While the Nereus is building, I want to add to that a set of 5 inertial stabilizers so that we can load up all of the low slots with that. And we bought these expanded cargo holds as well. And depending on what we're carrying, we might want to swap out inertial stabilizers for just a little more space. So I'm going to start a run of 5 of those as well. And that way we can put in whatever combination of inertial stabilizers and cargo expansion we like. While the Nereus is building, there is one more blueprint we are going to need to do all the things we're going to do, and that is a blueprint for a venture. Blueprints for ventures are only sold by the Ore Corporation, and that corporation lives way out in Outer Ring. 20 jumps from here by the shortest route. A lot of it, most of it in nullsec. So while that's cooking away, we're gonna hop in Clippy the shuttle. Jane's gonna head on out there, see if we can pick that up and get it safely back here to Uphallant. And here we are, way out in Outer Ring.
Docking permission requested.
Docking up at an ore station. Trip out was uneventful. There was a Loki sitting on a gate not too many jumps from here. This is why we brought the shuttle. They're fast off the gates, they're immune from warp bubbles, and as long as we're not hauling a lot of stuff, just a blueprint is going to fit in the hold just fine. So, let's take a look at the market and venture blueprint. In station from the ore NPC, 2,825,000. Buy this. There it is. We'll load it into Clippy. And now, set our destination back to Uphallant. And, with any luck, we'll get back just as easily as we got here. There's our Loki on the gate. And we are out of there. Kestrel and a Stabber on gate. Astero. Lots of company here. Not gonna hang around for that party though. Coming back into low sec by way of Harul, which is only a couple of jumps from home base. Fairly quiet here, not so much in Ostengel, which is the next system. Ostengel is very frequently gate camped at the Stackmon entrance from High Sec. But we're not going to be moving through Stackmon. Not today. Yeah, look at all the flashy things in here. My guess is that they're all flashing from their exploits at the Stackmon gate. Here we are back in our little quiet backwater behind Stackmon. The autopilot so that we dock as soon as we land on the Instadock.
Docking permission requested. Docking request accepted. Autopilot disabled. Waypoint reached.
And we are safely back with our venture blueprint. Beautiful. The time has come. Our Nereus has been delivered. Let's hop aboard. And as with all Jane's ships, the first thing Jane will do is give it a name. Nereus, tack Jane honesty, simply will not do. Nereus is the old man of the sea in Greek mythology, first named as not Eris, or not discord. So Jane will name this Nereus Harmony. And now to fit this Nereus, we also did build a couple of things that we had planned on putting on here right away. Again, we're going to keep the fitting pretty simple. And if we go in here and see, let's see, low slots are pretty much what we're concerned with here. We made inertial stabilizers and expanded cargo holds. For right now, because we don't need a lot of cargo, we're going to go with the inertial stabilizers, all 5 of them, just to see if we can get our align time down 5.12 seconds. And I don't know, I think probably we are getting some, diminishing returns here. So 5.12, if we're going to be at 6 seconds effectively, let's go ahead and take... that is not... There we go. 6.05, we want one more than that so that we can be under 6. 5.47, there we go. So that's as good as we get with the 3. And you know what? We might as well put one of the regular ones on, and since we've got a Type D handy, we'll do that. We'll bring our capacity up to just over 4,000, which is nice. And it's nice because each of these things that we want to put in here, starting out with gas command centers, if we take a look at their properties, their volume is 1,000, so having just over 4,000 means that we can carry 4 of them, and that's exactly the number we need. I'm Casparius. You may have noticed that there are more blueprints in Jane's hangar than were mentioned during today's episode. Don't worry, we'll come back to those pretty soon. If you've watched Building a Cinnaballs series or some of the other bootstrapping from a Corvette channels running now, you might have a guess about what some of those blueprints may be for. I'll drop a link to some of those other channels that I'm following in the video description, and if you know of others, please do share in the comments as well. For now, I hope you enjoyed watching today's episode as much as I enjoyed making it. And as always, of the 1,001 things you might have on your list today, you took 20 minutes to play EVE Online with me, and I do appreciate it. Until next time, thank you.